Good morning, and welcome to the September 17th, 2019 Lancaster County Board of Commissioners meeting. It's hard to believe that we're already more than halfway through the month of September. For introductions, on my left, we have Commissioner Deb Shore and Commissioner Sean Flowerday, who is also the Vice Chair. And on my right, we have Krista Yoakum, Commissioner Krista Yoakum, and Commissioner Rick Vest. I am Commissioner Roma Amundson, Chair of the Board. Welcome to the meeting. Will you please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, and thank you so much. And Mr. Clerk, will you begin the agenda?
A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located on the wall at the rear of the hearing room. Additionally, a copy of all written material to be discussed at today's open meeting is available from the county clerk's staff at the front of the hearing room. The material can also be viewed on the county's website at lancaster.ne.gov. Agenda item 1 are minutes. Approval of the minutes of the Board of Commissioners meeting held on Tuesday, September 10th, 2019.
Move approval.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Any corrections? Please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Yoakum,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Number 2 are claims. Approval of all claims processed through September 17th, 2019.
I move approval.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the claims. Any corrections, any discussion? Please call the roll.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Yoakum,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Number 3 are consent items. These are routine business items that are expected to be adopted without dissent. Any individual item may be removed for special discussion and consideration by a commissioner or by any member of the public without prior notice. Unless there is an exception, these items will be approved as one with a single vote of the Board of Commissioners. These items are approval of amendments to the following grant contracts. C-18-700 with Clyde Malone Community Center for the Leadership for Young Women program. C-18-701 with the Clyde Malone Community Center for the Leadership for Young Men program. C-18-689 with El Centro de las Americas for the Latina Leaders program. C-18-690 with El Centro de las Americas for the Joven Nobles program. Amendments to the following county contracts. C-18-581 with the Board of Regents of the University of Nebraska on behalf of the University of Nebraska-Lincoln's Law Psychology program. C-17-768 with Midwest Service and Sales for annual supply grater blades. C-17-767 with Nebraska Printing Center for annual supply, envelope supply, and printing. C-17-755 with Total Fire and Security for the annual service, fire alarm panel inspection, testing, and repair. C-19-235 with the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services to amend the contract term and increase the per diem rate per detainee for July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020. Change order number 1 to County Contract C-19-359 with Van Kirk Brothers Contracting to change a 24-inch driveway culvert pipe with a 36-inch driveway culvert pipe. Change order number 2 to County Contract C-19-497 with Industrial Inc. to extend the contract completion date to October 31st, 2019. Setting a public hearing on Tuesday, September 24th, 2019 at 9 a.m. in Room 112 of the County City Building regarding setting the final tax request at a different amount than a prior tax request for Lancaster County and the Rural Library for Lancaster County.
Move approval of the consent items.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Please call the roll.
Yoakum,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Next is unfinished business. 4A are recommendations from the Personnel Policy Board to request amendments to the following. Rule 2.7, personal policy bulletins. Rule 2.8, availability of these rules. Rule 3, classified service and exceptions therefrom. And Rule 4.4, quorum.
Good morning, Commissioners. Doug McDaniel, Human Resources. I'll make a quick overview of these amendments to the rules so that you know what we brought before you. They have gone before the Personnel Policy Board, and the Personnel Policy Board has approved them all. Rule 2.7 is cleanup, which really changes the former title of the department from personnel to human resources, and the said bulletins from personnel policy bulletins to human resource bulletins. Rule 2.8, availability rules, does much the same, changes the title of the department to human resources and changes the URL to the current URL for the city and county. Rule 3, classified service, adds law clerks under state statute to the classified service exception rule. And Rule 4 revises the Personnel Policy Board quorum as also as outlined under state statute that was passed 2 years ago in unicameral. The last rule is personnel or human resource policy bulletin for Lancaster County, vacation usage upon retirement. And again, this just basically adds some clarifying language to how vacation is used when someone gives notice of retirement, and they can continue on using up their accrued vacation time, but also puts in place a form that they complete so that the employer knows, we the county, how they wish to have that done, and clarifies what the last date is. Doesn't really change any practice, but puts a form in place so that that is clear from our standpoint operationally and from the employee as well. Questions I might be able to address for you.
Okay. And Mr. Clerk, would you read item B?
4B is a recommendation from the Personnel Policy Board to revise the vacation usage upon retirement policy.
Okay.
Sorry,
thank
I
you.
jumped the gun on you. I
Oh, that's okay.
apologize.
Okay, we got her. We got her done. Any questions?
Can you just go over real quick what 4.4 is? The quorum change? We're switching
Oh,
from
the
4 to
quorum,
3.
yes, I'm sorry. Basically, this is under state statute. It basically states that 3 members of the board shall constitute a quorum for the transaction of business, except that no business shall be transacted unless one of the members appointed by the Board of County Commissioners or the elected department heads and one of the members appointed by the classified employees who are covered by the county personnel system. So it complies with state statute. It's a little cumbersome, but it just changes what the quorum consists of, where previously it was just 3 members. The new language says 3 members, but they have to be from these specific representative groups.
Okay. Any further questions? I would entertain a motion.
I will move approval.
I think we should have 2 motions because of the way it is on the agenda.
Okay, yeah.
All right, I will move approval of item A.
I will second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second regarding item A. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay. Now for item B.
I would move approval of item B.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve item B. Please call, any discussion? Please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Next is number 5, new business. Resolution directing the county treasurer to issue tax sale certificates to the county on all parcels of real estate where there are delinquent taxes, and also directing the county attorney's office to begin tax foreclosure proceedings.
I would move approval.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the resolution. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. B is a collective bargaining agreement with the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge Number 77. The term of the agreement is August 15th, 2019 to August 31st, 2021.
Doug McDaniel, Human Resources. We have concluded our negotiations with FOP 77. This union represents the youth services, youth services detention officers. The substance of this agreement is a 2-year agreement, as the resolution states. It's a 2.0% increase in wages. There are some operational changes in how we address overtime, but that's the extent of the changes.
I would move approval.
And I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second to approve the agreement. Any discussion?
I don't have any discussion, but can you all just resend the link for that? Because mine won't load up for whatever reason.
Okay, all right, certainly. It'll be posted on our website as well. I can't answer that if it's due to Granicus
Yeah.
or what have you, but certainly, so.
Might also just be this computer.
Okay, all right, very good.
Okay,
We have a motion.
we do, okay. That's what I was- Okay, please call the roll.
Yocum,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. 5C is a 2019 subrecipient agreement with the Nebraska Emergency Management Agency in the amount of $143,365.
Good morning, Jim David, Saver Director, Lincoln, Lancaster County Emergency Management. Just kind of wanted to give you a little background on this grant. It's through the Department of Homeland Security, and the best way I've found to describe it is it's federal money that's administered by the state at the local level. Every county is eligible to participate, and every emergency manager is certainly encouraged to apply. And what you can qualify for is a 50% reimbursement of your personnel costs. So your staff benefits and salaries can be covered by that, and that was the award amount that we received this year. That $143,000 total represents 50% of our personnel costs, and that's reimbursed on a quarterly basis through the state's grant management system.
I don't suppose any other departments can get there.
That's why I certainly want to take the opportunity to share
think
that
they're-
5
information.
stars for you.
I think they're all under Jim's jurisdiction from now on.
From now on, yes.
I
That
move-
is,
I move approval.
I would second.
okay. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. D is a memorandum of understanding with the Nebraska Commission on Law Enforcement and Criminal Justice for the use of the Crime Commission's Grant Vantage online grant management system.
Good morning, Sarah Hoyle, Director of Lincoln Lancaster Human Services. This is a memorandum of understanding between Lancaster County and the Crime Commission to use their new online system. We receive about $2 million from both state and federal pass-through funding from the Crime Commission, and they've moved from a paper-based reporting system to the online system, hence the agreement.
Very good.
I would move approval.
I second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. 5E is a grant contract with Lighthouse for the Brick by Brick mentoring program. The term of the grant contract is July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020, and the total amount of $21,953.
My name is Brandon McWilliams, and I'm the creator of the Brick by Brick program. I am a certified Strength Finders coach at Lincoln Lighthouse, and I created the Brick by Brick program really to help these students find hope where there is a spot where there's none really seems like there is available, really helping them identify a goal or a dream that they would like to pursue and how they can pursue that goal or a dream, and using that to motivate them to get through those hard situations. Really, since the beginning, we've been asking the kids really what makes them great, and that's an environment where 1 out of 4 of them were able to tell us something that they were good at, where all of them were able to tell us something that they were bad at. And so it's really just changing that mindset, using the strength finders to help them understand what they're naturally good at, how they think, feel, and behave, and how can they use that towards productive behaviors, and hopefully getting them out of there and becoming productive members of society. We've been running this program over there since 2014, and we're going to continue to do that through Lincoln Lighthouse. And hopefully with Lighthouse having more of a stable community where kids are going up there on a regular basis, we can bring the kids that don't have truly like violent offenses or anything, but that can fit into the Lighthouse community and hopefully get them some more caring adults in their lives. Are there any questions about that?
Okay. Yes, Rick.
No, go ahead.
All right. It's Mr. Williams, is that?
McWilliams.
Yeah, Mr. Williams, first of all, let me say thank you for this work, and thank you for coming and sharing this morning. So there's a lot of mentoring with folks and helping them identify challenges that they want to take on and then working with them to achieve those goals, it sounds like.
Correct. I am a psychology major, and so really using positive psychology, it's a matter of just helping them understand how they think, feel, and behave, how they're going to respond to things, how does their history play into what they might see the world as, and then really just using that to help them figure that out, especially in that teenage range where that's really difficult for you to do.
Mr. Shore?
2 questions. Do you serve males and females, or is this a male-based program? I was just trying to remember the details.
It's males and females.
Males and females. And then without sharing anything that's confidential, can you just share maybe some of the dreams or hopes or stories you've heard from these young people? And
Absolutely. A lot of the students, they kind of have ambitions to be business owners. Through a Gallup research poll, they found that a lot of people who had the potential to be entrepreneurs are found in juvenile detention centers and prisons. And so it's really, they just have a different way of thinking and going about things. And it's just really how can you use that towards doing something productive with it. And so it really is just, I mean, I also have stories of like just some of the kids who have gotten out and have been successful. And so really being able to go around town and you'll see them working somewhere and they're talking about how they're trying to pursue their goals or their dreams or what the steps that they're taking to get there. That's kind of why it's called brick by brick, because each brick you kind of got to lay to make the wall rather than, just looking at the one brick for the moment.
all right, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and actually using the strength finders, I think that that's a tremendous tool because you really can identify, what the strengths are and then build upon that. They find out something about themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so.
I would gladly move approval of this grant.
And I would love to second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve this grant. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. F is an agreement with JEO for professional engineering services related to the 2020 countywide wetland delineation services for 18 county sites. The term of the agreement shall be for 1 year from the date of execution. The cost to the county is $32,078.
Good morning.
Morning. Larry Legg, Lancaster County Engineering. This is a contract, as I said, for wetland delineation. Wetland delineation has to be done during the growing season. It typically ends around October 31st, so this gives us about a month and a half window to get our wetlands delineated for next year's program. Most of these are pipe culvert replacements. However, there are provisions for additional sites and in this contract. And then once we get the wetlands delineated, if we need to do a permit, there are also provisions for supplementing this contract to do that. So any questions?
Move approval.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve this agreement. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Yocum,
Yes.
Yes.
Vest, Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Number 6 is public comment. Those wishing to speak on items relating to county business not on agenda may do so at this time.
We get 2
Good
for 1
morning.
here.
Morning.
Now, who is the speaker?
Okay, well, I'll be the speaker, but she's going to help, as she always does. My name's Melissa Baker, and this is Ava Baker.
Okay.
So I'm going to say hi real quick.
Hi, Ava.
She's a little shy, so am I. So this is sometimes really difficult for me. I'm not used to speaking up, but I have been recently. And the reason I come to you this morning is my concerns about what's happening with the CAFOs. And I've been following the CAFO task force, and I'm awaiting their report. eager to see what they have to say. Some of you I've reached out to you. I know you, and others I'd love to sit down and have a meeting with you. This last week's been pretty difficult, which is why I'm just maybe a little extra shaky today. A little over a week ago, we, as in a group of us that are all in Nebraska, different communities, groups, grassroots organizations, we put out an asking for a moratorium, a Nebraska CAFO moratorium. And it caught the attention of our governor, and in the last week there's been quite a bit of backlash on a lot of us. We've been called some things that we are not. I'm here just to represent myself. I work for GC Resolve just part-time. I'm a stay-at-home mom with Ava, and my son's in kindergarten, which is why I was late last week and missed you. But I did leave for you some information about what that is asking. And I also left for you a book about the Regeneration Proclamation. There's so many great things happening right now in our state with regenerative agriculture and urban ag. And I'm also a part of the Mayor's Environmental Task Force. I've been doing that for several years, way before the CAFO stuff ever even was in my awareness. But and also the Lincoln Earth Day group, which is a lot of fun planning that event. But really, I'm here. I just would like to read a few things that were some of the things that I read during the CAFO Task Force Working Group, what we're asking for and what we're calling for. We're not a bunch of radicals from out of state. The meat murder quote from the governor, I don't even know what he's talking about. A lot of us are farmers from farming backgrounds or just really care a lot. So thank you for your time. I'm just going to read you as long as I can without too much distraction. Just what we're asking for and some of the improved standards. So we're asking to stop approving the applications until the county regs have been updated in order to protect the public's health and quality of life. We're asking you to consider putting a cap on the amount of animals in barns. When I was recently, last week, at the Saunders County hearing for the 12 barns that were being proposed up there, I was really shocked. There was so many people packed into that tiny little third floor room, and you know, the more they spoke, the more they felt like their voices weren't being heard. And then there was conversation about, well, is there a cap? Well, there's not really a cap. Well, this is what our regulations currently are, so I guess we have to do this. It was just so disheartening. So this is affecting a lot of people's livelihoods, and even the statements this last week by the governor is affecting a lot of people's personal life, their businesses, their friendships, their relationships, their family. I really just want there to be a clear, just a clear message of what we're asking for, and it's not extreme at all, and this is something you guys are already working on. But what we really would like to see is a 1.5-mile residential setback from the CAFO operations, a minimum 3-mile setback from public use areas, the schools, the churches, the community centers. Dr. Harriet Gould and I both personally would love to see a 5-mile setback for schools. They're very deeply concerned about the schools around these types of facilities, these types of operations. The traffic, the environmental impacts, the public health impacts, and so on are very concerning for a lot of people. Also require emission reporting for ammonia and other GHG emissions to protect public health and understand the climate impact. Ground and surface water testing on all sources within a half-mile of the operation, and the public reporting of their analytical results should be required as a required element in the initial application for the special permit. In the nutrient management plan, it should require cover cropping on all farms applying litter and buffer strips along running waterways within a mile of the barns.
1 minute.
Environmental impact review on the NMP on all large CAFOs required prior to the process and public hearings. A disaster fund for environmental mitigation and liability paid by a parent company or other industrial ag companies, so that liability is not on the county or farmer growers. It must take into consideration the types of livestock, the size of the CAFO, their practices. The reserve must have a 5-to-1 asset to liability ratio. There should be funds required to be set aside from the parent company for decommissioning of the barns. Other industrial poultry communities, after projects are closed, they just leave the barns wasting away. And we would like to have the conversation about the decommissioning as well as part of that. And again, I really appreciate the work that you guys have already done looking into this. You'll probably see emails coming from me, and I just wanted to get out in front of you and just tell you who I am. I was born here in Lincoln, and I've lived here my whole life. I care, and that's why I'm here this morning, so I thank you for your time.
Well, thank you for coming forward.
Could I ask a question?
Sure.
Melissa, when we first heard about this potential barn in Lancaster County and northwest Lancaster County, it seemed like that was one of the bigger ones. But didn't just recently, wasn't there one in Platte County that's more like 1 million chickens that was approved?
These things just keep growing and growing in size.
That's what I was going to
and
ask,
that's
is that the
why-
trend?
Yeah, like when I first started learning about what this was coming, it was roughly 350 barns total. Now we're up to 520. And I mean, at first it was these were going to be like, oh, there'll be maybe 4 of these CAFO barns that would hold roughly, like, I think it was around 35,000 chickens. Now we're up to 8 barns is a norm. 12 barns is totally normal. The thing is that this is new for Nebraska. This extreme forward of vertical integration is a new thing for us. It's not family farming. It's not the way we've known agriculture. And I just think we just really need to look at what that is, because it just keeps expanding. And I know from when I was in the Saunders County meeting last week, there was a young gentleman who stood up talking about dairy, and he literally looked at the LPP and Costco people and said, Costco, we really want you to come in and save our dairy. And it's just that there's going to be more CAFOs. They're growing in size. They're growing in size of operation. There's so many questions I have about that. I mean, when is enough enough? When do we put a limit on the number of CAFOs? Or when do we ask the questions about the people that are operating these CAFOs? A fourth of the total number that we've found are going to be out-of-state owned. Now, we've been accused of being out-of-state radicals. We're not. We're from here, and we're just trying to speak up to protect our communities. The out-of-state person is Jody Murphy out of North Carolina, who's the financial back for a fourth of these things. We have a lot of questions about that, So I appreciate you guys looking into this very much. I'll forward you articles, research, everything I have and that we've come up with, and we appreciate your time and listening to us.
Yes. Commissioner Short?
When we started cell phone towers, there's always a decommissioning plan, and then we moved on to, wind towers, and there was a decommissioning plan. And are there national models for decommissioning plans for CAFOs such as we are seeing now in Nebraska? I mean, to me, it's a relatively new concept to decommission those, but thinking of the history.
Yeah, I can look into that and get you some information.
There are.
Yeah.
There are. This is the kind of agriculture that was kept out of Nebraska for all these years because of Initiative 300 that was passed in 1976. It was a ban on corporate agriculture here in the state. It wasn't overturned until 2006, actually, because of the ADA, the American with Disabilities Act. And so this is all pretty new to us, but it's pretty standard in places like North Carolina, Kentucky, Tennessee, which is, Nebraska is one of the states where, because of increasing environmental regulations, in particular in North Carolina, where they are moving a lot of the large poultry operations farther west to the Midwest, and Nebraska's been selected as one of the states to house that, which, if we do it right, isn't so bad. If we do it wrong, really hurts our community.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you. That was very informative.
Thank you. Ava, say thank you.
Bye-bye.
Ava.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You'll see yourself on camera someday, girl. Thank you.
Requested things you requested.
Sure, I can forward it to you. Yeah.
Next is number 7, announcements. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold a staff meeting on Thursday, September 19th, 2019 at 8:30 a.m. in the Vail Luxford studio of the County City Building. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners will hold its next regular meeting on Tuesday, September 24th, 2019 at 9 a.m. in room 112 of the County City Building. County Commissioners can be reached at 402-441-7447 or commish@lancaster.ne.gov. The Lancaster County Board of Commissioners meeting is broadcast live on Link TV City. For the rebroadcast schedule, visit lincoln.ne.gov. Meetings are also streamed live on Link TV and can be viewed on YouTube.
Move we adjourn?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. Please call the roll.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, the meeting is adjourned, and now we'll move on to the Lancaster County Board of Equalization.
A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is located on the wall at the rear of the hearing room. Additionally, a copy of all written material to be discussed at today's open meeting is available from the county clerk staff at the front of the hearing room. The material can also be viewed on the county's website at lancaster.ne.gov. Agenda item 1 are minutes. Approval of the minutes of the Board of Equalization meeting held on Tuesday, September 3rd, 2019.
Move approval?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Any corrections? Please call the roll.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Number 2 are additions and deductions to the tax assessment rolls.
Move approval of the additions and deductions?
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to approve the additions and deductions. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Number 3 is a public hearing. This is for motor vehicle tax exemption applications for Lin Quang Buddhist Center, Madonna Rehabilitation, and they have 3 applications. Resources for Human Development, General Shepherd Baptist Church, The Lighthouse, My Bridge Radio, and Habitat for Humanity.
Okay, we have a public hearing here, and what we will open it for any comments, but seeing nobody come forward, I will close the public hearing.
Next is number 4, action on motor vehicle tax exemption applications.
I would move approval.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the tax exemption applications. Any discussion? Please call the roll.
Yocum,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0. Number 5 is public comment. Those wishing to speak on items relating to County Board of Equalization business not on the agenda may do so at this time.
And seeing no one in the audience come forward,
I move we adjourn.
I'll second that.
okay, we have a motion and a second to adjourn. Please call the roll.
Flowerday,
Yes.
Yocum,
Yes.
Vest,
Yes.
Shore,
Yes.
Amundson.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-0.
Okay.